does reach Florida at all. National Hurricane Center forecasters say the storm that has formed in the Caribbean Sea could bring flooding and strong winds to parts of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, as well as Belize and Honduras. Authorities in Bolivia say they've intercepted a truck that was carrying over 7 tons of cocaine, and they say it was headed to the United States. 3 men arrested. Here's Andrea Arenas with more.
According to Bolivian Interior Minister Carlos Romero, the cocaine captured is estimated to have a street value of $350 million. Bolivian law enforcement discovered the 7.5-ton load in the remote town of Patacamaya between Bolivia and Chile. The truck's driver was released after police concluded he did not know the content of the shipment. Bolivia is the 3rd largest producer of cocaine in the world after Colombia and Peru. Andrea Arenas, Washington.
And a public policy polling survey finds 5% of Americans would vote for Harambe the gorilla if he was running for president. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
We're here to fix the machine. Battlefield Live.
You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey from Lanterns Radio Network, the Battlefield Live radio program, WGSO GoDay Media Studios. If you want to give us a call us 504-556-9696, and we have a ton of stuff to talk about. And if you're interested in reaching out to us, maybe not by phone, but if you want to reach out to us by social media and ask us some questions, we'll be checking Twitter and Facebook through the show. Contact us on Twitter at Lanterns Buzz. That's the show page. You can also follow me at Paul Revere again. My name is Chris. And you can follow Trey at T-Rob Radio. Also, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Lanterns Buzz. So, Trey, I think I've decided who I am going to vote for in the election. I finally made up my decision.
Really? You decided? I mean, it's still kind of early. I mean, we're still 90-plus days out.
No,
you don't have to rush into this now.
No, I think I've made my decision. I think this is a no-brainer, and I can't believe more people haven't jumped onto this. I just heard in the during the break there that Harambe the gorilla is getting a lot of popularity, and I think I'm going to throw my vote towards the gorilla.
You're really gonna go gorilla, bro? You know what they say? Once you go ape. I don't know what they say. I don't know what the rest of it. Well, I don't know what the rest of that is.
This is going to be like Planet of the Apes before it's all over with.
Well, you know, that woman, that female ape, that female chimp did go ahead and do a little bit of a lip lock with young Charleston Heston there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, you might have the I think Barack Obama said that the Statue of Liberty was offensive, something to that effect. Did you hear about that?
Like recently, or?
Yeah, I read that somewhere, and look, I guess maybe you ought to look, huh? Obama?
Well, yeah, you can check that out, but I thought you were going to go the route of, us voting for gorillas or apes. If you ask the Islamic State, they'll tell you exactly why they hate America, and one of them is because America apparently is full of bestiality. Now, that's where I thought you were going. I mean,
well, that was my next point.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
fair enough. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the shark there.
No, so one of the things that we were actually going to cover yesterday, and we just didn't get around to it because we had so much stuff going on, including an awesome guest.
Somebody needs to ante up and drop about $2,000 large on this program, because we're going to need a third hour before it's all said and done.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we could probably even go over longer than that, but then we'd probably end up losing our lives.
Our livelihoods, our families, our sanity.
I can see this now. My wife would leave me if I was doing 3 hours of radio a night.
Listen, I look at it like this. If your wife leaves you and my wife leaves me, we just have to come together and become roommates.
Yeah, that would not be a good thing at all.
I think it would be a great thing. I've spent the night in hotels with you. I have traveled long distances with you, and
People are going to get the wrong impression. You realize that.
I'm okay with your CPAP machine.
The only person that I know of from the male side of the ledger, yes, there is two sides of the ledger, male and female, for all of you out there in the
Not 74. That's right.
Right. The only male that I know that actually calls me from the shower.
I needed my back washed. Okay? How difficult is it? I can't reach behind my back. Okay? Now, if you can't
Skype doesn't work that well.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying. But all right, so my big thing is here, and I've been kind of watching. I watch social media all day. What was that about?
I just threw up a little in my mouth.
Okay,
but go ahead.
So I watch social media all day, right?
Mhm.
So just kind of in between files loading and files processing and things of that nature when I'm doing my costs and things like that. I'm flip through my phone and watch social media, just kind of get the temperature, if you will, of what's going on social media.
Sure.
And man, I tell you what, I don't know if it's just me being hypersensitive since the RNC and DNC have been over, which I don't think it is. I have a pretty good perception if you haven't guessed yet, folks.
Yeah, I don't think you're hypersensitive.
So it just seems to me that I don't know if it's a Facebook deal with the trend, because the trends today, I even took a snapshot of it today. The picture didn't come out too well. But the trends today were all bashing Trump and nothing about Hillary Clinton. Nothing.
Right. And this on the heels of finding out that the Obama administration sent out $400 million in Swiss francs and other currencies to pay ransom for two hostages in Iran. So
that's nothing though. We got to talk about Melania's nude photo.
Is there a third? Is there another nude?
Well, this is what's really interesting, and I want to.
They better get all of her nude pictures out before Trump, becomes president, because he's going to do away with the drugs, and he's going to do away with the Mexican rapists, and he's going to do away with the porn.
But yeah. All right, so check this out. I truly think that Trump released those pictures.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like something Trump would do. I'm not going to lie.
So let me ask you this. The media has been hammering Trump on this Kazai or whatever the hell his name is. Keezer Khan or whatever.
Khan, yeah.
Yeah, the Wrath of Khan.
Right.
Okay, so they've been hammering him on this, and he's trying to get the narrative to swing. He is a master at stoking the flames in the media, right? But I don't think the media is biting. I don't think this is the same media that we were seeing when he was running against Trump in the primaries. Wouldn't you say?
Yes. I think, yes, I think you probably are right.
I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity.
I can barely hear it. Is that the Wrath of Khan?
Yeah.
Buried alive.
Dude, is that the best movie ever or what?
Yeah. So
somebody has to do a Trump video with that.
Exactly.
With the little hands.
We probably should do it. Listen, I think I have said this months ago.
Right.
Donald Trump, and for me, all the confirmation I needed was the original consultant who came out and tried to tell everybody that Trump never intended to become the president of the United States.
Well, I mean, that there's no evidence of that, but I can
see. Hold on. Let me offer up some evidence.
Okay, go ahead.
There is, according to reports, an extensive ground game by the Clinton campaign in Ohio. Okay. Nothing on the part of the Trump campaign. Donald Trump has now gone out as of today and refused to endorse Speaker Paul Ryan and or Mitch McConnell in their individual races.
Okay. Which that doesn't surprise me.
He is literally now...
Which I wouldn't either.
No, I get it. For different reasons. We would do it on principle. He's doing it because he cannot have a united Republic. If the Republican Party unites, they're going to beat Hillary. Now, I've got a list of like 50 prominent conservatives who are still in the camp of never Trump, never ever Trump. And there are more people now today, more Republicans just today who are now coming out who used to be probably Trump, who are now moving toward never Trump. This is going to come down to who rallies, who's base, and Trump is failing right now. But I believe, Chris, he is putting in a guaranteed reason for his loss when he does lose. And we'll talk about that more when we come back. 504-556-9696. Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be right back.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports offers youth and adult leagues for soccer and flag football, NFL youth flag football, and youth developmental programs. Playmakers Tots program is a youth development program for children ages 18 months to 7 years. Playmakers Tots uses sports like soccer, football, baseball, and basketball to help kids work on motor development, learn to work together, follow directions, and improve listening skills while learning that activity is fun. To register for classes, go to our registration page at playmakersindoor.com or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com. 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
What are you doing to stop traffic when your business is ready to wow the pants off customers? Visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just the trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
You're listening to the Battlefield Live, and we're on Lanterns Radio Network, WGSO 990 AM, and we're in the Go Day Media Studios. Look, make sure if you haven't yet, check us out on Twitter at Lanterns Buzz and the Battlefield Live website. You can find us at battlefield.buzz. You can also find our network, new website launched, and you kind of get a sneak peek. We haven't gone full-blown promotion mode yet. We have some things that we're working through right now, but you can check it out, lanterns.buzz. Also, if you're interested in our podcast, you can download the podcast at your leisure or subscribe through any of your podcasting software out there. Just go to Spreaker.com. You can check it out there. Just do a keyword search for Lanterns Buzz, or you can go to SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. You can check us out on Stitcher, Google Play, Player.fm, and you can also find us on Google+. So, also, we are on Red Nation Rising Network, as well as Red State Talk Radio and ICRN Radio. We're all over the place, folks. We get around, wouldn't you say? What would you say to that, Trey? Do we get around?
Man, I wish I'd have queued up. I had a little Beach Boys right now. I get around.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, just saying.
Just put it out there.
So all right. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. I'm on Facebook right now.
All right.
Okay. And Facebook is like really close to Drudge when it comes to conservatism, right?
You know what? They're practically identical.
Yeah, they're pretty damn close. I mean,
so right wing, principled, conservative.
Yeah, big gun guy, Zuckerberg.
Right.
Zuck. It's very close to Cuck.
That's very true. Zuck and Cuck. They do
right.
rhyme.
Zuckerberg. Okay, so here's the trending topics on Facebook as we speak. Mike Pence. Woman confronts vice presidential candidate on Donald Trump's military comments. Paul Ryan. U.S. House Speaker did not seek Donald Trump's endorsement, spokesman says. Brown Berets. 2 female members get photographs standing with the Nation of Islam members at protest. Whoop, that's one for the good guys. Ding. How about this one? Donald Trump the movie. Funny or Dies parody film premieres on Netflix. Let's see. Can you hear us now? Hashtag surface for a response to Donald Trump's comments about Genghis Khan.
And these are just the general trending, right?
No, this is trending. This is the top trend.
I know, but it's like not political or sports.
No, this is political. This is political.
Oh, it's political. Okay.
Kelly Ayotte, Republican senator, criticizes Donald Trump. Lindsey Graham, surprised. Grahamnesty, senator of South Carolina, criticizes Donald Trump for his remarks on the Khan. Ajamu Baraka, Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein, names human rights activist as running mate. How beautiful is that? Warren Buffett, investor, challenges Donald Trump to release his tax returns.
Okay, I've got that one.
Yeah. And Delaware Supreme Court body unanimously rules state's death penalty law is unconstitutional.
That's weird, bro, because I have different trends.
Really?
I have Purple Heart. I think you said that one, right?
Yeah.
So Donald Trump says veteran gifted him real U.S. military decoration at Virginia rally.
Right.
Hashtag Can You Hear Us Now? Which is a response to...
yeah, that's the one I saw. I have that.
Got the Warren Buffett one.
Yeah.
CBS This Morning.
What is that one?
Donald Trump's son, Eric, says his father already apologized to killed U.S. soldiers' family.
I saw that one earlier.
Brown Berets.
I got that one.
Janine Pirro.
Now, I had that one earlier. I don't have it now. So your trending seems to be lagging on.
I got some lag in my trend.
Lag in your... So,
John Podesta.
I had that one earlier.
Paul Ryan.
I have that one now.
Columbus, Ohio.
Didn't have that one. What does that say?
That's a Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump host rally.
Okay.
And then University of Houston.
University of Houston. That's the one with the gun deal, right?
No, that's student body vice president suspended over hashtag All Lives Matter post.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you follow Media Matters on Facebook?
I don't.
Okay, I do. Do you follow Politico?
I don't.
Okay, so I would. We're not going to go through the litany of
but real quickly,
out there.
You, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. You use Facebook and follow Facebook like to like aggregate news to get stories, right?
I watch the social media feeds for news.
Yeah, I'm completely selfish on my use of Facebook. I only use Facebook so that people know about what I'm doing.
So, all right. So
it's the same. It's the same reason why I don't listen. People will say, "Hey, man, did you hear the show today?" I'm like, "No, I didn't listen to your show. I don't listen to my show. I don't listen to. I rarely listen to other people's opinions."
That's interesting. All right. So let's talk about you.
Go ahead, walk it out.
Speeding past me.
I'll walk it out. I'll walk it out. Go ahead.
All right. So All right, so is it a good thing that I have a different trend than you have?
I don't know. No. If it's really trending
for me, is that an echo chamber for me? And I'm only hearing what I want to hear,
possibly,
and not really hearing what's really trending out there.
It could be, but I mean, I think isn't that what all of the conservatives who went and kissed the ring of the Zuckerberg, wasn't that the whole thing that they found out, that the trending is not as organic as people think it is?
Well, I would argue that this is organic. This is well, it's
organic from some liberal kids sitting on Facebook.
It's organic based on what I am interested in, on what I like.
Not according to the reports that came out. According to Zuckerberg's own admission, his people sit there and put out what they want everybody to see as trending. Their trends are not like
different than mine,
because you have different people putting out different. They're not really trending.
So all right. So I guess I don't want to get into the weeds on that, but
right.
To me, if we're in the same region of the country, I don't understand why that takes place. All right. So going back to the other thing, which was, what did you just say?
What's trending for you on Twitter right now?
Twitter.
Let me refresh my Twitter. Okay, trends. I have United States trends. What do you have?
I hate Twitter trends, Twitter trends, by the way, because it's always garbage.
So what kind of trends do you have? United States?
I have Bachelorette
in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise. SD Live.
I got that.
Han.
I got Han. Before that, I got MTV Screen.
I have that one as 22.4 thousand tweets.
22 point. Okay, yeah.
All right. So The Hills. Joey Votto. So that's, to me, is a true trend of what's on Twitter.
Well, correct. But more importantly, it's a true trend because it's exactly the same for you as it is for me.
That's exactly right. So this is interesting because I think one of the things that I would really want to know what the country's talking about.
Right.
And I go to Twitter when I really want to see what the country's talking about. From what I hear, Facebook's been lagging.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the things that I see is that not only does the mainstream media really truly censor what's really going on, or they don't cover what's really going on.
Right.
They're playing games.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and what's happening is we're seeing right now, and it's interesting that all this is taking place. There's a lot of people getting banned from Twitter and Facebook. Like Milo Yiannopoulos got permanently banned from Twitter. Did you see that?
Yep, I sure did.
And then Michael Savage was blocked for posting news on Islamic crime on Facebook.
Chris, Patrick Hampton, who we had on this show, got his personal account banned because he was posting just truth about Black Lives Matters.
So, I mean, I don't even. To me, this is getting to the point of being so dangerous. Ben Shapiro.
He got banned from a university,
from DePaul University.
Correct.
So.
And how many other conservatives have gone on the college speaking tour and been canceled, like Ann Coulter, or how about this, or about Ayan Hirsi Ali, the former Muslim who had gone through all the genital mutilation, and she's an atheist now, but she speaks out against Islam, right?
Right.
Let's dig into that a little bit more. We're going to reach out in the next segment to Stephen Broden. He's going to be joining us in the bottom and top of the next hour, and but I want to dig in some more with this and take your calls. We got some people online. 504-556-9696, Battlefield Live. Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be right back. Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports. TOTS program is one of Playmakers' most popular. Our professionally developed curriculum provides our TOTS with a variety of fun games and exercise in a positive, enjoyable, and exciting environment. These great games help your little one develop their motor skills, create confidence, improve their listening skills, and learn how to follow directions, all while promoting fitness and activity. Our TOTS groups range from 18 months to 7 years. Sign up your little tot today or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Heads now rolling over the email scandal at the Democratic National Committee. CEO Amy Dacey stepping down following the resignation of DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The hacked emails appearing to show the DNC stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders in the Democratic presidential primaries.
I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president, and he keeps on proving it.
President Obama calling the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump woefully unprepared to be commander-in-chief. Then in a scathing statement, Trump says Obama and Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton single-handedly destabilized the Middle East and handed Iraq, Libya, and Syria to ISIS. Trump's statement going on to accuse Obama and Clinton of allowing murderous criminal aliens into the United States. Wall Street closes sharply lower. This is USA Radio News.
This report is brought to you by SC Johnson. Mosquitoes. We all know they can cause itchy, irritating bites during the summer season. But did you know only female mosquitoes bite your skin? Or that the chemicals in your breath can attract mosquitoes? Scientists at the SC Johnson Entomology Research Center have been studying insects for 60 years and have found that body chemistry, proximity to water, and the color of your clothing can make a difference if you want to avoid bites. Dr. Maud Meyer, an SC Johnson bug expert, is here to share some tips to help you protect your family from mosquitoes this summer.
Our research at SC Johnson shows that personal repellents that contain DEET offer the best protection against mosquito bites. DEET affects the scent receptors in mosquitoes, making it difficult for them to recognize humans as a food source. In order to best protect your family, look for effective personal repellents like OFF that contain DEET.
For more facts and tips on avoiding mosquito bites this summer, visit www.scjohnson.com/mosquito.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. Well, the media loves to bash Donald Trump. In fact, they're a major part of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Yet one thing they're overlooking, it's been 241 days since Hillary Clinton last held a press conference. Most candidates for president regularly hold press conferences because obviously there are all kinds of questions that need to be asked. Like Hillary should be quizzed about Benghazi, the email scandal, the foundation, contributions from Middle Eastern countries that abuse women and mistreat gays, and questions about the DNC's handling of Bernie Sanders and the rigged nomination process that favored Queen Hillary, and questions about her philandering husband and his abuse of women. The list is endless, yet Hillary refuses to answer these legitimate questions. Now the question is, how long will the press let her get away with it? More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. here on WGSO as we cover all the hot issues of the day. Trump, Clinton, and Obama, radical Islam, ISIS, immigration, Hillary's emails, the Clinton Global Foundation, inner-city crime, and global trade. All as we prepare for the presidential election. Listen in to our special guests from both sides of the aisle as we debate experts on issues relating to health care, the budget, national defense, and the U.S. Constitution. We never pull any punches, and of course, we take your calls throughout the hour, so make it a point to join us each and every Wednesday, 5 to 6 here on WGSO. See you then.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Thank you for sticking with us on the battlefield. Trey, you seen this video of this armed robbery in Houston?
No.
Dude, I just posted on Twitter. You can check it out on Lanterns Buzz. It's a video. It says bullets flying during terrifying Southeast Houston store robbery. This guy's like 3 or 4 guys come in. I'm talking with scary guns, right? Not just regular guns, but scary guns.
Not scary guns.
Yeah, the scary type of guns. And they just start blasting away. And what's interesting is you see like the people behind the counter run in and lock themselves in behind this door, and they are just blasting away at this door trying to get them out. And I don't know if it's like a safe place or something there. Anyway, I posted it on a Twitter account. If you want to check it out, it's pretty interesting. So I wanted to get back into this before we get Stephen Broden on. So check this out. All Lives Matter student gets suspended and sent to diversity workshop. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, that was the thing we mentioned just before we went to break.
So that was on the University of Houston. Okay. Did you read the story?
No, not like in its entirety.
All right. So a student leader at the University of Houston was suspended for 50 days in order to attend a diversity seminar after she criticized the Black Lives Matter movement online. Shortly after July 7th shooting in Dallas that killed 5 officers, Roni Sefi went on Facebook and opined, "Forget Black Lives Matter, hashtag Black Lives Matter, more like all lives matter." The statement was later deleted, but only after numerous UH students denounced it as incredibly offensive or hateful, or even hateful. And it says, just for her to say, "Forget Black Lives Matter" is a punch in the stomach, student Nala Hughes told a local press outlet at the time. So I don't know. To me, this is starting to get really scary to me.
Okay, well, first of all, we went to the first break and we came back and we didn't kind of tidy up what we had talked about in the first segment. Okay,
right.
So we were laying out some evidence on Trump, and we're going to get back into the first.
You don't have any comments about this diversity thing?
Yes, because it ties in.
Okay,
so there are reports now that came, like Daily Wire is reporting that Mike Pence is beginning to distance himself from Donald Trump.
Really?
Okay, so this is coming out of this is by Hank Barron of dailywire.com.
You send me a link?
I can. Yes, I can. Coming to you.
Cool. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So no, that's all right. So Pence is becoming increasingly uncomfortable with how Trump will not let up on this Khan thing, because you brought the whole Khan thing up, right?
Right.
And a ton of and look, this guy Khan is a snake. Okay, this is a pro Sharia. He had a law. He took his website down. I was trying to bring this up last night, but Khan had a website as an attorney teaching illegals how to come into the country and like get a bunch of benefits and stuff. And so now you've got people like Pence, who is the vice presidential nominee of the Republican Party, caught between the proverbial rock and a hard place, because he's got to align himself with Trump as his running mate. But the things that Trump is saying could permanently taint his association with Trump, which is, Chris, exactly what you and I have been saying, that if the Republicans identify with Donald Trump and embrace him, they're going to be tainted by his association forever. So like we said, if Trump wins, it's bad for the Republican Party. If he loses, it's bad for the Republican Party.
So you were talking about Kaiser Khan, right?
Yes.
All right. So did you realize that he was he wrote a lot about Sharia law?
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning yesterday, that the guy is not just some helpless, poor soul who, God forbid, he did lose his son and he's a part of a Gold Star family. I get that, okay? But you've got CNN and NBC in the same article that are quoting sort of a scoop that last night, that in the middle of the week, that they were trying to possibly find out if they could get rid of Mike Pence.
Right.
Okay. Now, bring this to where we were heading with Milo Yiannopoulos, who literally is now more famous than he ever was.
Right.
Because Twitter banned him. The type of speech that Trump is being known for as being politically incorrect is not so much being politically incorrect as it's just him being a jackass, right?
Right.
So when you look at what's happening between Ben Shapiro being banned from DePaul, and you have all of the free speech stuff, the diversity of the Black Lives Matters versus All Lives Matters, you have police departments around the country now that are putting All Lives Matter stickers on their patrol cars.
Right.
So what's happening is you're getting pushback from the people, I guess you would call them the social justice warriors,
right?
The Black Lives Matters people, all of the Democrats. Like, the blowback is actually benefiting Donald Trump, which is only going to inflame him more and give him more reason to go out there and say even more inflammatory stuff than he's saying right now.
Well, I don't know how much more inflammatory he can get. I mean, he bashed a Gold Star dad.
Just wait. Because, again, my original premise is that he's not interested in being the president of the United States, and he's out there saying that the system's rigged. He knows that the media, because you brought up social media, the mainstream media, everything right now is against Trump. Nobody is out there selling Hillary as like she's the choice. Everybody's out there saying and focusing on Trump and what he's saying, how he's incompetent, how he's unfit, how he's unstable, all of these different things. And it's the built-in excuse when he loses miserably in November.
Well, yeah, I've kind of figured that he did that before in the primaries as well. I mean, he was talking about how everything was rigged.
Yeah, no, he's setting himself up to have the perfect reason. But again, you look at Ohio; these are swing states. Like, if you're going to win, you have got to win in these particular states. And he's got there's no organization, no ground game.
But he didn't do that in the primaries either. And won the primaries.
But he had multiples of billions of dollars of free media coverage that the other candidates didn't have either.
I'm looking more at that as just being very amateurish and thinking that he's going to be able to use the same tactics in order to be able to do that in the general.
But I believe your premise is wrong because you're looking at it from a standpoint that he actually wants to win.
I know, but there's nothing out there other than stupidity, and we've talked about how stupid Trump is on a lot of stuff. There's nothing but stupidity that we can point to. There's nothing. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, but how many stupid things have to be said before?
He was doing the same stupid stuff in the primary. It was just he had the media on his side. In the media, to me, it's a media conspiracy if you want to look at it as far as conspiracy. They prompted him to get to this point, and now they're completely dumped him, and he's flabbergasted. He can't understand it because he's been a media darling for so long.
But doesn't that defend or prove the point that I'm trying to make? Is that all along, even up until now, whether you're talking about his original campaign manager or his strategist came out and said she was hired to make sure that he at least finished third. And then you have people coming out now like, who was the most recent one to come out? I forget who it was. It was another one Was it Mark Cuban maybe? I'll look it up during the break.
Came out in favor of Hillary.
But somebody came out and said, look, the guy seriously is not interested in governing. He just is not interested in figuring out how to govern. That would take too much out of him to have to slow down and stop for 4 years or 8 years to stop his life, the life he loves, the life he's built, and stop and have to try to govern the people. He's just not interested in that lifestyle.
So let me ask you this. All right, so I don't think that to me there's low-hanging fruit out there that we don't have to go into the conspiratorial black.
Yeah, I'm not making any kind of conspiracy.
Right. No, I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying that there's enough out there. We've been talking about how terrible Trump is politically for a very long time, regardless of whether or not he won the primaries. And we've had a lot of very terrible candidates win primaries before.
Right.
I just think that at the end of the day, Trump is galvanized a certain section of the country that's only going to point in a bad way to the right.
No, you're absolutely correct.
You know, and there's nothing good that comes out of. I don't care, folks, if you like Donald Trump or not. The people that are supporting him, that are getting a lot of ground game or ground I don't know how to exposure, and you just go look up the alt-right and find out what the alt-right is all about. In fact, you can go to lanterns.buzz and do a keyword search for alt-right, alt-right, and you'll see what the alt-right is all about. And this extends beyond the borders of the United States. Trey, you and I talked about Alexander Dugin and what goes on overseas with Russia.
Well, we're 10 seconds up against the break, so we'll be right back. We'll talk more about this on Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Join us at Playmakers Indoor South every summer and holiday for our multi-sport camps. $25 a day, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with before care from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and after care from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. available for $5. Soccer, flag football, basketball, wiffle ball, relay games, lacrosse, and much, much more. Plenty of spots available. Contact Playmakers Indoor Sports, 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan, or call 504-305-6078 or sign up today at playmakersindoor.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Thank you for sticking with us on the battlefield. Give us a call if you're interested in talking to us, discussing this, 504-556-9696. We'll be bringing Stephen Broden on the program here shortly. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can conclude this and maybe cover some things in the next segment. I mean, it's obvious that the turmoil that has ensued over the Trump versus never Trump has definitely split the party. Then you have the rhino type folks that are trying to maintain their power, and Donald Trump is a direct threat to that. So there's almost like three pillars in the Republican Party.
What are those three again?
Well, you'd have like the never Trump Tea Party types, right? And then you have the Trump Tea Party types and the alt-right, right? Because there are a lot of Tea Party folks that we know that support Trump, that are more aligned with the secular side of conservatism rather than the social conservatism, right? And then you have on the third side, you have the rhino establishment types, corporatists, things like that.
Well, I think we can agree that the Republican Party, when we say the GOP or the Republican Party, we're talking about basically the establishment and the Democrat right. I mean, the Democrat light.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's like the easiest one to just kind of chalk up. Anybody who acts like or governs like a Democrat in the Republican Party, that's the establishment.
Right.
Okay. So what do you have left? So what you have left, and the establishment, by the way, is not the majority.
That's right. They're a minority.
So they're a pretty
very small minority.
Probably. You're right, because they're like the ruling elite of the party, if you will.
Right.
But then you have, I think probably like the biggest group is just people who are diehard or dyed-in-the-wool Republicans. But they're dyed-in-the-wool Republicans. It's like a party first.
They look at it, republicanism, big R republicanism, as being conservative.
Yes, and that's a really bad assumption on the part of people.
That's right.
Because as conservatives, the Republican Party, I can't identify with the Republican Party anymore.
That's correct.
Because they don't stand for Republican principles or ideas. Right. As a matter of fact, they don't even put anything forward. We've talked about this on multiple occasions, that it is easier. How many times, Chris, have we said that the Republican Party is not interested in governing? They only want to be the opposition party.
They want to be the opposition party because they want to be. They try to take the moral high ground, and it's always on the losing side of it. Right?
Now, I think the establishment. I think
that's the front.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's a front. I think that they don't care about the moral high ground.
No, of course not. No,
politically they take it, but that's not their interest. Their interest is
they campaign with it because they know that that's what gets their base out.
Right.
Okay, and the base of the Republican Party is still people who believe in more or less like the Reagan-esque principles of the Republican Party, which most people would say is solid conservative beliefs.
That's right. And look, I wouldn't say that the Democrat Party is that much different. Now, I truly believe I don't know what the size of the segment is because it's so veiled in in lies. But there's a segment of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party that's truly trying to destroy the country as we know it, fundamentally transform it, if you want to call it. Pursue this revolutionary change by destroying the morality in our country that we've known since its founding.
But I think, like, for you and I as principled conservatives, I think it's vital that what we do is we continue to hold our own tribe accountable first, right? Like we a lot of pro-Trump, pro-Republican types, especially those that are they love just going out and just and a lot of people who were never Trump who are now on the Trump train. That's all they want to do now is they just want to go out there and they just want to hammer Hillary. And I get it. But to me, that's the easiest thing. The easiest thing for you and I, Chris, as principled conservatives, is to contrast conservative principles and beliefs with the Marxist ideology of the left.
that's the easiest thing to do. But politically, I think what often happens, and I don't know that we do that here in this program, I hear like people like Sean Hannity do this all the time, is that when somebody blames Trump for something, they come out and blame Barack Obama. Well, Barack Obama did the same thing.
Correct. And that was the same thing that they said Democrats did when we would come out and we'd say, yeah, but Barack's not leading. They go, yeah, but George Bush gave it to us.
Right. So it's the tit for tat, and I think that's the progressive game. I think that's what pushes everything to the left.
So, yes, we're hearing very little about Hillary Clinton right now. Even less is being reported about policy issues that are actually going to impact the American people, right?
Right.
But see, I think that this is how Trump likes it.
Well, all right, so explain that.
I think that Trump likes the fact that because he has no actual policies. I mean, just think about his Putin answer the other day. But I don't really think Putin's going to go into the Ukraine. What? Like, he's already there. What are you talking about? Like, he's not like trying to, for as much as we hammered Ben Carson for not being ready on the big stage, Ben Carson is way more prepared to be commander-in-chief on the first day than Donald Trump is. Remember, he offered the job of domestic and foreign affairs to John Kasich, which Kasich declined, if you remember.
Right.
So my premise is simple. Trump has never been and isn't currently interested in governing. He only wants to win and reign. I mean, that's kind of like his biggest motivation. But that's why he can so easily walk back from any outrageous statement that he makes. And he knows that the more outrageous things he says, that's how he draws the media out to give him coverage.
Yeah, but they're giving him bad coverage and they're not giving him the coverage that he used to get.
No, there's no such thing for Donald Trump as bad coverage. If they're only talking about Trump, even if they're trying to make him look like a racist and a homophobe and a bigot and all these other, he doesn't care because he doesn't identify with any of those things. He's not, and his follower, he knows, Chris, he said, I can walk out on Fifth Street and shoot somebody and I'm not going to lose any votes. So he is like playing the media continually, but it's a big win for Trump if the media keeps focusing on the candidate's domestic and foreign credentials. If they don't focus on actually that he has no ideas, then that's a big win for Trump. This is why it's been floated out there that Trump's trying to figure out a way how to not have to take place the policy debates. The presidential debates. Trump doesn't want to be in a debate with Hillary Clinton.
I don't think anyone can convince me, even you, that this is a good strategy for Trump.
No, it's a great strategy because he doesn't want to be president.
But you can't look into his heart and determine whether or not I could say that he's doing a lot of stupid stuff and he doesn't seem to be that stupid. That's a reason for it. But that could just be he's that stupid. No, he can't keep his damn mouth shut.
If he is okay. So let me accept your premise here. Let's just say he's just that stupid. Even more reason that he shouldn't be president of the United States.
Well, you can't. There's nothing you could say that's going to make me disagree with that. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say he's either really that stupid, okay, or he's doing it intentionally. But it's got to be one or the other. And I don't think he's that stupid. He's a freaking billionaire.
Yeah.
If you read The Art of the Deal,
I understand what
he lays out how to play the media. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm going to read this one little paragraph to you. Here's how you drown out the bully. You have to do this to make other political coverage as interesting as Trump, which is hard work. It's easy for the media to cover Trump, and it's easy to make a living or a splash doing it. He knows this. He uses it. He is the media user in chief. All right. When we come back from the break, top of the hour, we'll have Stephen Broden, Pastor Stephen Broden. He'll be with us. Last time he was here, he was developing a premise, which was simply this: abortion, stem cell research, DNA modification, human cloning, and euthanasia, how that affects America. We'll have Stephen Broden on the Battlefield Live on WGSO 990 AM when we come back.
Hello, this is David Jeremiah. Join me each weekday morning at 5:30 or 6:30 for Turning Point here on Talk Radio 990 AM.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. here on WGSO as we cover all the hot issues of the day. Trump, Clinton, and Obama, radical Islam, ISIS, immigration, Hillary's emails, the Clinton Global Foundation, inner-city crime, and global trade, all as we prepare for the presidential election. Listen in to our special guests from both sides of the aisle as we debate experts on issues relating to health care, the budget, national defense, and the U.S. Constitution. We never pull any punches, and of course, we take your calls throughout the hour, so make it a point to join us each and every Wednesday, 5 to 6 here on WGSO. See you then.
Join me Fridays at 5 for the Real Estate Rundown with Rachel Wolf. We'll bring in the experts to tell you what you need to know in the ever-changing real estate market. Fridays at 5 on WGSO 990 AM.
This advertisement does not constitute an offer to sell a franchise. The offer of a franchise can only be made through the delivery of a franchise disclosure document.
Fresh Healthy Vending is a new company that is revolutionizing the vending machine business by filling them with healthy and natural foods. That's right. Protein and energy drinks, teas and juices, yogurts, fresh fruits and veggies, soy milk, natural cereals, granola bars. Can you imagine that? It's like having a whole food store in a machine. And you can get in on the ground floor by getting your own Fresh Healthy Vending franchise. You can have your own small business placing healthy food vending machines all over your area in places like schools and hospitals and businesses and airports and other high traffic areas. Locations that embrace the idea because, you know, they make money too. Full training and support and assistance in acquiring locations. It's all about timing, folks. Pick up the phone, make the call to Fresh Healthy Vending, and get all the details on what could be your big life moment. Get Fresh Healthy Vending franchise information now. Call 800-424-8282. 424-8282. That's 800-424-8282.
This is David Jeremiah inviting you to join me here on Talk Radio 990 every weekday at either 5:30 or 6:30 a.m.
Your station for prep sports year-round. We are WGSO 990 AM New Orleans.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
I'm a father, and I cannot imagine the pain of losing a child.
New Jersey's Republican Governor Chris Christie speaks as Donald Trump has a war of words with the father and family of a fallen Muslim American soldier.
For Mr. and Mrs. Khan, the pain of losing their son while defending our country is unfathomable, and I think it gives them the right to say whatever they want.
President Obama rips into the Republican nominee.
The president was asked about Donald Trump in a White House news conference.
Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president, and he keeps on proving it.
He argued that Trump does not have the judgment, temperament, or understanding to be commander-in-chief, and Obama challenged Republican leaders to denounce and walk away from Trump.
Why are you still endorsing him?
In Washington, I'm Terry Moore.
On Wall Street, the Dow loses 91, the NASDAQ sheds 46. This is USA Radio News.
We all want to live long, healthy lives, and we know that smoking is not a part of making that happen. We all know the dangers, but we also know that it's tough to quit smoking and make it stick. And that's where Nickel Block comes in. It comes in a little bottle. And when you put it on the filter of your cigarette, it blocks the inhalation of tar and nicotine. So you got to check this out. Go to nickelblock.tv and find out more. You can also call 877-835-6060. Now, whether this is your first time quitting or your fifth, Nickel Block is your best chance to stop smoking for good. The taste doesn't change, and neither does your satisfaction. But what does change is your dependence on nicotine. And as you increase the number of Nickel Block drops, you'll gradually decrease your tar and nicotine intake. It's that simple. It's gradual. It's effective. Call 877-835-6060. Stop smoking. Make it for good this time. 877-835-6060 or go to nickelblock.tv.
An investigation continues into a deadly bus crash early today in Central California. Officials say the driver of the charter bus was Mario David Vasquez, a Los Angeles native, and he suffered major injuries when his bus crashed into a freeway sign pole at about 3:30 a.m. 5 people were killed in the accident that nearly sheared that bus in half. The Court of Arbitration for Sports already handled 11 appeals from Olympic hopefuls who hope to have bans overturned. With the Olympic Games now just days away, it remains unclear which athlete athletes are going to be allowed to compete.
The amount of appeals received by the Court of Arbitration for Sport at Rio already rivals the number submitted during the Olympics in London 4 years ago. Cases for 17 Russian rowers have been adjourned. The World Anti-Doping Federation recommended a blanket ban for all Russian athletes at the Games, but the International Olympic Committee ignored the suggestion. Instead, the decision is left up to individual sporting bodies, with the IOC expected to make a final decision later this week. William Denslow, Rio.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go!
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know!
I know!
You don't! Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No!
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Fiat Chrysler is now being sued by the parents of Star Trek actor Anton Yelchin over his death. Best known for his role as Chekhov in the latest Star Trek films, Yelchin died in June when his 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee rolled down his driveway, crushing him against a brick mailbox. The wrongful death lawsuit claiming the vehicle had a defective gear shifter and was under recall for just that problem. In April, Fiat Chrysler did recall over 1 million cars and SUVs over faulty gear selectors that made it unclear whether the vehicle was actually in park. A new report finds Olympic athletes and tourists face serious health risks over water contamination in Rio. It claims that in Rio's Olympic and Paralympic venues, there are dangerously high levels of viruses from pollution, putting competitors, especially in sailing, rowing, and open water swimming events, at risk. Here's more on the story from Dan Whitehead.
It claims swimmers would only need to consume 3 teaspoons of water to be almost certain of being infected with viruses that can cause stomach and respiratory illnesses. Rio's mayor has admitted failings in plans to clean up the bay around Rio, but Olympic officials insist the water is safe. It adds to concerns about Rio's overall readiness ahead of the Games, which open on Friday. The main sailing ramp being used to launch competitors' boats collapsed on Sunday following bad weather. Dan Whitehead, Rio.
Remember to find us at usaradio.com. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Take a look under...
We're here to fix the machine.
Battlefield Live. You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey from Lanterns Radio Network, the Battlefield Live radio program, and the WGSO Go-Day Media Studios. Check out the program on Twitter at Lanterns Buzz. You could also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Lanterns Buzz. If you want to reach out to myself, you could reach me out. Reach out to me, actually, rather. A little tongue twisted there, Trey. You can reach reach me at Paul Revere. Again, you can reach Trey at T-Rob Radio on Twitter, and you can give us a call at 504-556-9696. And with no further ado, been looking forward to this conversation for a while. We have Stephen Broden, Pastor Stephen Broden from Fair Park Bible Fellowship on the Battlefield Live. So how's it going, Pastor Broden?
Real good.
So we had a very interesting conversation that we left off on the last program that we had you on, and Trey talked to me about, hey man, we got to get Stephen Broden back on the program and follow up this discussion.
Right, we were sort of outlining an observation concerning what's happening in our culture and our beloved America. We are in the middle of what I believe is a transitioning away from our Judeo-Christian heritage to the embracement of doctrines of demons, or an ideology that is devoid of the divine. And there's several of those that are in play: socialism, communism, Marxism, Darwinism, secular humanism, and all those isms are ideas or ideologies that were formulated by men who are atheists and God haters. And our culture now is embracing many of those ideas in our policy, in our legislation, and in our government. that we're seeing a lot of those ideas coming to fruition. And there's no better place to see that operating or being fleshed out than in the major institutions that influence us. And there are 7 of them, or rather 6. Well, the 7th one actually is being influenced by the church. But of those 6 institutions, academia or education is number 1. Number 2 is business and corporations. And number 3 is major media and the influence that they have on our values. And then number 4 is the government. And number 5 is the church. And then number 6 is the family. All of those institutions are embracing the new morality. I call it neo-morality, the new morality that is devoid of the divine, of the Judeo-Christian frame. When we look at, for example, what happened in Indiana and Arkansas over the issue of, I think it was the Freedom of Religion Restoration Act.
Yeah, the one that Mike Pence vetoed.
Right. Mike Pence and Governor Asa in Arkansas, they were actually proponents of it and were pushing it to be passed in their respective states. But what happened was that the businesses in those states went to the governors and said, if you pass this legislation, we're going to pull our businesses out of your state.
Yeah, not too different than what the NBA did in North Carolina because of their bathroom law. They pulled the All-Star game and decided to move it to another state.
Right. This is called bullying, and these institutions are affirming ideologies and value systems that contradict the traditional values of the Judeo-Christian frame that undergirds or underpins the success that we have enjoyed as a nation. America is exceptional because the people are exceptional, and the people are exceptional because they embrace the Judeo-Christian ethic. That is no longer the case in 2016, and I believe that the full shift was on in 2008 and 9 when Barack Obama stood and declared to the nation that they were ready to fundamentally change America. And we didn't ask the question, what are you wanting to change and why? What they were saying is simply this: we believe that we have so shifted the nation to the left and to the embracement of the progressive ideology that it is now ready to topple over and to become something totally different from what the Founding Fathers had engendered and had wished for our nation. It is clear that has happened. The only thing right now, Trey, that stands in the way, and it is barely standing in the way, it's very weak and anemic, is the Judeo-Christian institution called the church. And not all who say they're church are Christian churches. They may claim to be Christians, but they're not. There's only a handful of us, I believe, that are, and we are in the way. And I think with the decisions that are made or were made by the Supreme Court on same-sex marriage, on gender-neutral bathrooms, on abortion, on sodomy, the sodomy laws were changed by the Supreme Court. All of those things were targeted specifically towards our Judeo-Christian value system. Unfortunately, the church did not respond, and nor did the culture respond in a way that pushed back against this deliberate attempt to change us, to fundamentally change us. We did not respond. And no greater example of the lack of response and outrage than when God exposed to the nation on national TV across this nation that Planned Parenthood was selling baby parts for profit. And there was no outrage whatsoever, especially not coming from the one institution that has a salt and light responsibility to represent the divine perspective in the public square, the church. I'm not saying all churches didn't, but by and large, the church did not respond. That is very telling about where we are as a culture, where we are as a nation, And I think it really is very telling to us who are called Christians, who are really, truly Bible-believing, who believe in the inerrant, infallible Word of God, inspired by the Holy Spirit. It's very telling to us that there needs to be a change in how we pray. Instead of us praying, "Oh, God, have mercy on America," we need to be praying, "Lord, what is your will for America?" and help us flesh that out. The will of God is not for what we see taking place in the public square. We mentioned 5 things last time that we were together: abortion, euthanasia, embryonic stem cell research, human cloning, and same-sex marriage. All of those things represent the very antithesis of what we believe as believers. But our culture, America, has embraced all 5 of those ugly realities, and they are teaching it to our children, and our children are growing up now believing that the marriage institution that God created can be that which reflects feelings and desires of same-sex individuals. And also they're teaching that same idea to our children right now in elementary schools, that if little Johnny feels like he's a little girl, little Johnny, you can be a little girl. And little Susie, if you feel like you're a little boy, they're teaching her right now, little Susie, you can be a boy. And Barack Obama has put a mandate out on hospitals across this country, I know you know about it, that mandated to them, if they are going to receive any federal funding whatsoever, that they must perform gender operations to change people from one sex to the other and to perform abortion. This is ugly, and it's very telling about the spiritual condition of our nation. We have turned our backs on God, and Barack Obama was right back in 2009 when he announced to the world that America is no longer a Christian nation. I hate to say that. When he said it, I was turned off. It made me angry, but after careful reflection and observation, the man wasn't wrong.
We're joined tonight by Pastor Stephen Broden. Pastor Broden, Chris and I wrote a book called The Machine, Deus Ex Machina, which is Latin for the God of the Machine, the progression of secular socialism. And in that book, we go through great painstaking detail to explain and to lay out how we got to the place that we are. And we lay out a case of 100, 150, 200-year incremental progression, that things that took place, those institutions that became infiltrated by those secular humanists and many of those same people, and ideas that came from those very God-hating people. But Chris and I, we're on the air 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. We do it because we want to be light in what we perceive to be a very dark place. My question to you is this, and Chris and I, we go back and forth on this, on how best to do this. But because we have such a secular nation now, many of the truths that you just postulated on air will not be understood, because we have people this is the first generation where we have 50% of young people who have never even been into a church building, let of all understand the things that you just said. How do we reach a culture? How do we reach people in our nation that literally have a spirit that is completely dead and not understanding to the things that you just mentioned?
Wow. What a great question. Yes, we have been. I think your observation and what you guys represented in your book is true. It has happened incrementally, but it's happened by design. And we were asleep at the wheel. And what happened is they used the system against us. They used our own liberties and freedoms against us to foist upon us this evil, decadent idea, socialism and communism. How do you reach these kids and those who have been exposed to nothing but this kind of thinking and have been stooped and studied in it? It's not an accident that we see that the majority of the supporters of Bernie Sanders were young people who were advocating and pushing socialism. Bernie Sanders is an atheistic socialist who does not believe in God and believes in a utopia designed by Karl Marx. How do you reach them? I do believe that there's power in the gospel.
Correct.
In the good news, that we must turn our attention, and I think where we have failed, those of us who are patriots and constitutional conservatives, we thought that if we could just reorient them to the founding principles, reorient them to the liberties and freedoms that are guaranteed to us within the Declaration of Independence and in the outline of the Constitution, that they would hear us and respond. But they haven't. They reject the idea of liberty and freedom as it is represented by the Founding Fathers to the embracement of something totally different. And so we have placed our emphasis, our effort in trying to teach, educate, and inform them about those liberties, our God-given liberties. And we fail to represent the one message that would truly transform them. That is to repent, that God offers salvation for all who would receive. That's the best answer to the dilemma and the decadence of our day. The tyranny that has been soft, that is about to turn hard, by the way.
Pastor Broden, let me jump in. We're on a hard break. We're going to pick it up right there when we come back. 504-556-9696. We'll be back after this quick timeout. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
like
this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports is a state-of-the-art indoor turf facility offering leagues, drop-in play, field rental, parties, camps, clinics, and a whole bunch more. Play includes adult and youth in soccer, lacrosse, flag football, and more. For more information, go to www.playmakersindoor.com. Like us on Facebook at Playmakers Indoors South. 6124 Jefferson Highway, Harahan, Louisiana, 504-305-6078.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
What are you doing to stop traffic when your business is ready to wow the pants off customers? Visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just a trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
Thank you for sticking with us on the battlefield. You're tuned in to Chris and Trey from the Lanterns Radio Network, WGSO 990 AM. Make sure you go to Twitter, follow us, Lanterns Buzz. You can follow me at Paul Revere again, and you can follow Trey at T-Rob Radio. Also, our podcasts are on Spreaker.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play, and Player FM. Just do a keyword search for Lanterns Buzz. And we have Stephen Broden on the phone, Pastor Stephen Broden. We're having a very interesting conversation. And Pastor, one of the things that Trey and I, he mentioned our book. One of the things that I really tried to do, at least as far as my contribution within that book, was that I wanted to really explain the philosophy and the roots of not only American exceptionalism and what has made America great, which arguably is one of the things that I find ironic, that one of our presidential candidates wants to make America great again, and he's never been able to explain why we were great in the first place. But I wanted to explain how the progression towards socialism was a gravitation away from, or a progression away from the spiritual and towards the material. And one of the things that, in doing that research, I read a lot about George Lukács and Antonio Gramsci, some communists. One was a Hungarian, Antonio Gramsci was Italian, and how they abandoned the revolution, the violent revolutionary method, and went to a more progressive cultural revolution. And then I read Herbert Marcuse's book called Eros and Civilization, which arguably is one of the pillars of the radical 60s revolution. And I say it revolution specifically because I do believe that was when the country turned in revolution. So my question to you is this. The country has been fundamentally transformed over over 100 years now, and it's been culturally. The culturally is only reacts to the material. How do we operate in a way in the spiritual? And it may be a sidecar to what Trey had asked, but is there a way to reach out in the material in a progressive manner to bring them to the spiritual?
Wow. I think that's a bit above my pay grade. Have you heard that before? No, well, that's a very complicated question. It talks about strategy and methodology and tactics that I think that needs to be shaped through our understanding of the priorities of the gospel.
Yes.
What is God's priority? In our analysis, and I think your analysis is correct in terms of the influence of the left upon the culture and upon our way of life here in America. But there's another influence that we have not spent much time on, and I think it's important that we talk about this. Because I really believe what compromised the gospel, what caused the influence of the Christian in the public square to be mitigated and to be marginalized, was this thing called, and I want you to hear me, the American dream.
Right.
The American dream blinded us to the gospel message.
Because it was material.
It turned us away from the priority of the kingdom to a selfish, fleshy kind of faith that turned God into a genie in a Bible. You rub the Bible 3 times and ask God what you want, and he'll give it to you. The American dream blinded us. 2 cars, 2.5 kids, a big house in the suburbs, with freshly cut grass and, a nice income that's coming in daily, and watching the Cowboys play or the Saints play. And, and that's all that really mattered. And we weren't involved in the gospel. We weren't involved in reaching the lost. We're not involved in pursuing biblical justice, which is different from social justice. All these churches running around here talking about social justice, that's a communist idea, a socialistic idea, birthed in the boiler room of the socialists in South America.
Pastor Broden, let's dig into that American dream blinding folks from the gospel when we return from the news. This is the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM. Give us a call, 504-556-9696. And, of course, make sure you go to WGSO.com, or you can go to radio.battlefield.buzz to listen to Chris and Trey whenever you'd like to. We'll be back after this quick timeout. Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports offers youth and adult leagues for soccer and flag football, NFL youth flag football, and youth developmental programs. Playmakers Tots program is a youth development program for children ages 18 months to 7 years. Playmakers Tots uses sports like soccer, football, baseball, and basketball to help kids work on motor development, learn to work together, follow directions, and improve listening skills while learning that activity is fun. To register for classes, go to our registration page at playmakersindoor.com or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com. 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
I'm a father, and I cannot imagine the pain of losing a child.
New Jersey's Republican Governor Chris Christie speaks as Donald Trump has a war of words with the father and family of a fallen Muslim American soldier.
For Mr. and Mrs. Khan, the pain of losing their son while defending our country is unfathomable, and I think it gives them the right to say whatever they want.
President Obama rips into the Republican nominee.
The president was asked about Donald Trump in a White House news conference.
A Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president, and he keeps on proving it.
He argued that Trump does not have the judgment, temperament, or understanding to be commander-in-chief, and Obama challenged Republican leaders to denounce and walk away from Trump.
Why are you still endorsing him?
In Washington, I'm Terry Moore.
On Wall Street, the Dow loses 91, the NASDAQ sheds 46. This is USA Radio News.
This report is brought to you by S.C. Johnson. Mosquitoes. We all know they can cause itchy, irritating bites during the summer season. But did you know only female mosquitoes bite your skin? Or that the chemicals in your breath can attract mosquitoes? Scientists at the S.C. Johnson Entomology Research Center have been studying insects for 60 years and have found that body chemistry, proximity to water, and the color of your clothing can make a difference if you want to avoid bites. Dr. Maud Meyer, an S.C. Johnson bug expert, is here to share some tips to help you protect your family from mosquitoes this summer.
Our research at SC Johnson shows that personal repellents that contain DEET offer the best protection against mosquito bites. DEET affects the scent receptors in mosquitoes, making it difficult for them to recognize humans as a food source. In order to best protect your family, look for effective personal repellents like OFF that contain DEET.
For more facts and tips on avoiding mosquito bites this summer, visit www.scjohnson.com/mosquito.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. Well, the media loves to bash Donald Trump. In fact, they're a major part of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Yet one thing they're overlooking, it's been 241 days since Hillary Clinton last held a press conference. Most candidates for president regularly hold press conferences because obviously there are all kinds of questions that need to be asked. Like Hillary should be quizzed about Benghazi, the email scandal, the foundation, contributions from Middle Eastern countries that abuse women and mistreat gays, and questions about the DNC's handling of Bernie Sanders and the rigged nomination process that favored Queen Hillary, and questions about her philandering husband and his abuse of women. The list is endless, yet Hillary refuses to answer these legitimate questions. Now the question is, how long will the press let her get away with it? More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
What are you doing to stop traffic? When your business is ready to wow the pants off customers, visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just a trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to InGodWeTrust.com and get your hope today.
Thank you for sticking with us on the battlefield. Listening to Chris and Trey from the Lanterns Radio Network, and we have Pastor Stephen Broden on the program. And I wanted to read this quote, Pastor Trey. And this is, to me, is a fascinating quote. And let me read it first, and we'll talk about who actually read this or spoke this. It says, when representatives from 13 unruly colonies met just down the road from here, some wanted to stick with the king. And by that time they left Philadelphia, they had begun to see themselves as one nation. That's what made it possible to stand up to the king. They took courage, or it took courage. They had courage. Our founders embraced the enduring truth that we are stronger together. America is once again at the moment of reckoning. Powerful forces are threatening to pull us apart. Bonds of trust and respect are fraying. And just as with the founders, there are no guarantees. It's truly up to us. We have to decide whether we'll work together, so we'll rise together. Our country's motto is E pluribus unum, out of many we are one. We will stay true to that motto. And to me, what is fascinating about this is that was Hillary Clinton at the DNC on her speech. And what she's speaking to here, and you all tell me what you think about this, she's speaking to the essence of the American people. The essence of the American people is not something that progressives speak to. Progressives speak to the material. They talk about how this person's been oppressed by these people and how these people are affecting these people and how this person doesn't have as much as this person does. It's all about the material. Progressives are masters at the language. They're masters at formulating ways to reach out to the things that are in our heart, and that is not material. So I think we have to do something, and I'm not saying that we have to play the class warfare game, but there has to be a way that we can reach across and impact the people that are on that side. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What does that look like in your mind?
Well, that's kind of what Trey and I have been debating here for actually a couple of weeks now. We're trying to understand how is it that we can reach out to the people that only get the material.
See, I'm of the belief system, Pastor Broden, that you cannot use the material or the secular worldview. You can't use an alternative worldview to use that sort of language. to then point people to a biblical worldview. I know it's very cliche, and the story may not even be true. I don't even know if it works this way, but it's like the old saying of the bank teller. A bank teller, brand new hire on, they don't teach them the hundreds, if not thousands, of different ways that money is counterfeited before they put them at the window. They make them count real money. They make them look at real money. They make them smell it, touch it. They put them there for 30 days before they put them out in front of the actual teller. So you basically you inundate them with the real. You inundate them with the truth, and then when the counterfeit does come, it's so obvious that it's a counterfeit bill. So I equate that to what kind of the struggle that we're in is that if we use the premise of the right, but we use the language and the methods of the left, then we're left to the people like that are on the alt-right movement right now, which is coming up pretty quickly to kind of take the place of supplant constitutional conservatism. So that's where Chris and I, we've been going back and forth because I don't think we can use materialistic language. And to Chris's point, Chris, I think that the progressives actually do a great job of making non-materialistic moral arguments. Bernie Sanders made a better moral case that people are attracted to than anybody else in the election. That's why his message resonated with people, because it's immoral what the bankers are doing. It's immoral what the big corporations are doing. It's immoral how they're corrupting our government. So he's making a moral case, and he's the most progressive candidate we've had in United States history.
It was a material morality, though. It was about taking and stealing rather than polluting the culture.
Hey, you don't get, and Pastor, you can jump in anytime you want, but you don't get more moral than thou shalt not steal.
I understand that, but that's also reflected. His position comes from the material. He's a socialist. Dialectical materialism.
I think you guys are hitting on something, and I do believe that the answer, again, and we should always go back to the book, man, that we go back to the mind of God, that there needs to be a redefinition in our culture of what is good. A redefinition of what makes me happy. You see, all those definitions are tied to materialism and success as it is defined by the American dream. Sacrifice. What does that mean from a biblical perspective? What does it mean to have peace? Jesus says, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives peace, but my peace. There's something distinctive about the definitions in the world. You see, and no matter how Bernie and Hillary use language, they are tying the results that they desire to see to a fleshy or earthy
carnal
source. And so what we should do is when we talk about those ideas and when we talk about those principles, we're not talking about them in terms of materialism or in terms of that which makes me happy out of a material frame of reference, but rather, the joy of the Lord is my strength. What does that mean? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. What does that mean? And so it is a reorientation of a biblical perspective, a biblical worldview. And I heard somebody say that. I thought maybe you said that, Trey.
Yeah.
A biblical worldview that defines human conduct and character and defines it out of the divine. That's what's left out of Hillary's statement. That's what's left out of Bernie's statement. They're defining it out of a human or a fleshy response. And there is nothing that brings satisfaction or brings any worth or value or dignity out of that humanistic idea. In fact, the Bible says in Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, says, see to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deceptions, according to the traditions of men and according to the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Jesus Christ. There are four things there: philosophy, empty deception, traditions of men, and elementary principles of the world, juxtaposed to what? According to Jesus Christ. So the mind of God is the source by which we are able to address these issues and to frame our answers to the dilemmas of our culture from a divine perspective. I just believe you got to turn back to the Bible.
Listen, this has been this has been a phenomenal hour. This podcast, I mean, this is one I'm going to go back and listen to, because I think we've touched on something tonight, Pastor, with you being here, being in the face of this country and the culture like you have been. And Chris, we've talked about this a lot, but it's been good to have Pastor Broden here to discuss this, because, I mean, I think that this is the seminal debate and conversation that we need to be having right now, because if we don't engage more people into this conversation, especially people who we would consider to be on our side, maybe not as Christians per se, but at least politically, they're not our enemies. But if we don't convince them, people that can make decisions, that this is the last stop, and if we don't turn it, I mean, we are truly doomed. So I'm stoked. I mean, I won't sleep tonight because I'm gonna be thinking about this conversation a whole bunch more, and I know it'll come up again on future shows.
Well, I wouldn't say that you're doomed. I wouldn't say you're doomed. For we have the promises of God, our hope for our nation and our beloved nation. And I love America. I love America. There's no other place I'd rather be. I don't like what America has become. And what it has become is that which is an offense to my God. So I stand on the side of my God. Jesus says this, and I know you got to go. He says this in Matthew chapter 13 and verse 29, I believe. He says, when you see these things happen, recognize my coming is near, even at the door. Two things. He said, you got to see it. And once you see it, you got to recognize what it is. And those two things are not the same, seeing and recognizing. One can see and not recognize. I just went to a wedding the other day, and I walked in, and a number of people came up to me. Hi, Pastor Broden. And I was seeing them, but I didn't recognize them. But they recognized me. I was seeing them, but I had no recognition. Recognition means that once we recognize what's going on, it's going to frame for us how we respond to it. My reaction to what's happening in America today, and is from the point of view that God has given to me out of his eschatological framework. We are on an eschatological timeline, and the inevitable and eventual return, the second advent of Jesus, is at the door. The question is, how do we respond, and what should our ministry be in light of what we see? I submit to you men tonight that our ministry is the ministry of John the Baptist. His ministry at the first advent was what? Repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Do you see his coming? I know you do. I do. I see it. So my ministry is taking on the ministry of Jesus, of John the Baptist. Make straight your way, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Here comes Jesus. Here he comes.
That's right. Pastor Broden,
you need to know that. God bless you guys.
I thank you very much for being a part of the show tonight. And we will definitely meet up again and have you back on down the road. God bless you in all that you do, and we will touch base again. Thank you very much.
Well, Chris and Trey, keep up the fight. We've got to keep fighting. We've got to push back, and we've got to be the salt and light agents in the public square. God bless you both.
504-556-9696. Final segment of the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey coming up next on WGSO 990 AM in NOLA. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports. TOTS program is one of Playmakers' most popular. Our professionally developed curriculum provides our TOTS with a variety of fun games and exercise in a positive, enjoyable, and exciting environment. These great games help your little one develop their motor skills, create confidence, improve their listening skills, and learn how to follow directions, all while promoting fitness and activity. Our TOTS groups range from 18 months to 7 years. Sign up your little tot today or call 504-305-6078. PlaymakersIndoor.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com. We're on the battlefield of ideas, and we're going to discuss some ideas here. But first, I want to make sure we mention all the places you can find us. You can find us on lanterns.buzz, the website, as well as battlefield.buzz. Check out those two places. Also, tweet us at lanternsbuzz. You can tweet me at Paul Revere again, and you can follow and tweet Trey at TRobRadio. Also, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spreaker.com, SoundCloud, Stitcher. There's a whole bunch of places. Just do a keyword search for Lanterns Buzz. So Trey, and look, we can never have enough time on these shows to discuss some of these topics because we could talk for hours, and we have. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it genuinely interests us.
Folks, Trey is the only person that I know that I can talk for 2 hours prior to a 2-hour radio show.
Right.
And still have not enough time.
We'll talk before the show for 2 hours. We'll do a 2-hour show. And then if the opportunity presented itself, we would talk for another hour after the show.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've driven home and been sitting in my driveway, and my wife will flick the lights on and off out like, what are you still talking about?
I've had Barbara standing out looking through the windshield of my vehicle going, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
So
who are you talking to? I'm like, Chris.
All right,
haven't you talked to him enough today?
Let me try to explain. Yeah, they think we're cheating on each other. So let me explain. Let me explain my point in the best way that I know how.
Okay.
Because this is whenever you talk about philosophical discussion,
right?
It's difficult to put into practical terms. So
right.
The best way that I can explain this is that the end goal is to contrast the material and the spiritual, and we have to be able to show the transition between the material and the spiritual. First and foremost, we did it in our book. We explained to them, to the people that read our book, how we had moved from the spiritual, what made America great, to the material, which is now us fighting over scraps about, big corporations and crony capitalists in our government, redistributing wealth in ways that they desire to do that without our say-so.
So the contrast you're saying that needs to be made is the contrast between the spiritual and the material.
We have to be able to speak in the philosophical terms. We have to be able to look. The progressives are extreme. They understand behavior. They have behavioral scientists that understand what makes us react to certain things, and they're appealing to our carnal pleasures. What we need to be able to do is look at the carnal pleasures and explain to why those behaviors are bad from a behavioral standpoint. Then when we speak for 45 minutes on why the behavior is bad and why it brings bad results, regardless of how great it feels, that it also aligns with the spiritual. So all you're doing is you're doing progressivism in verse, but you're saying the behaviors are bad, that they cause this. We do it all the time. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been very effective. So when I go to my son and I say, son, you're going to have this desire to do, certain things with
X, Y, and Z.
A girlfriend that you may meet or whatever, but understand that those are normal material feelings that you're going to have. But the result of those will destroy your life because of X, Y, and Z, right? And that's why you have to ignore that and realize it's kind of like you and I have been on a diet, right?
Right.
How hard has it been when you pass up a plate of cookies on the table and you don't grab one? You have to reach inside to the essence of what you're trying to do and ignore the carnal parts of it. It's the best way I could explain it is it's self-control.
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm not hearing, and I want to make sure that I'm not just missing it, but there's no contrast there.
Of course there's contrast.
So if you're trying to, I know of no way, like for instance, when Pastor Broden, when you heard him say that in Matthew it says that, about vain philosophies of men, traditions of men, vain deceit, like the truth of what he said in that verse resonated as a contrast to the ideas of philosophies, traditions of men. So the contrast to the material is the spiritual. But if you don't highlight the spiritual, then there's no contrast there. You're only working within the framework of the material.
You do have to highlight it. I'm not saying that you just dismiss it and don't ever mention it. It's like the conversation we had about witnessing before. The point is that when you look at, all right, so let me ask you this. Did Jesus know the nature of the devil?
Yeah.
He understood the nature of the devil. So by me studying communism, by me studying Marx and Engels and studying Friedrich Hayek and all these different philosophers, good and bad, I understand the nature of a lot of these people. So I'm able to recognize it, right?
Sure.
Now, with that said, I align myself with the spiritual. I align myself with the biblical worldview.
Sure.
So in order for me to understand these, then once I understand it, then I can go out and explain it. But what I explain first is the philosophy that you're buying into is this, and this is why it's bad. I don't want to inundate people because they throw up walls the moment the word Jesus comes out, the moment the Bible comes out. So what you have to do is you have to bring them into your house. And then once they're in your house, then you make them comfortable with what they know. And then you offer them the final piece.
Right.
You understand?
I too once believed that. I really did. Here's the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a certain place where the change that has to come, there has to be a wholesale heart transplant to where you are literally transformed by the truth of Jesus Christ. Holding a biblical worldview isn't going to get you eternal life. It's not going to give you salvation.
I'm not even talking about that part yet.
No, I know. But here's what I'm trying to say. The kind of change that takes place, that needs to take place in the hearts and minds of men, is only the type that is presented by the gospel itself. Otherwise, a biblical worldview is just another philosophy. It can be rejected. It can be accepted. But it's not going to be held up. Ultimately, you're not going to get the total truth. you're still getting a partial truth.
So there's two transformations that take place mostly. People that have some drastic thing that happens in their life that they suddenly change. You explain a personal experience, and I won't mention it unless you wish that someone that you're very close to that went through something like that.
Right.
Okay. Then there's other people like me that had stepped away, had slowly, gradually, I had to understand it first. And I'm not quite where I need to be. But I think there's a lot more people out there that are like that than the people that are going to almost die and all of a sudden change their way of life.
No, that's a great point, and we'll have to leave it there. I'll let you stay with the last word on that one. And we thank you. We hope you enjoyed this program. Check us out at lanterns.buzz, and you all probably want to listen to this podcast again for sure. For Chris Pilier, I'm Trey Roberts. Thanks to WGSO 990 AM. This has been The Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on the Lanterns Radio Network. We'll see you tomorrow night, NOLA. Good night.
This advertisement does not constitute an offer to sell a franchise. The offer of a franchise can only be made through the delivery of a franchise disclosure document.
Fresh, healthy vending is